Hi Cancer, thanks for tuning in. This is going to be your reading for June 2020. Tune in, check in with your higher self, and join me while I shuffle. Ask your higher self to connect with me so that I can bring through messages that are really relevant and tailored for you. Please don't multitask while you're watching this reading. I want to make sure that you make the most out of your time here and you don't miss any of the really important messages that are coming through for you. You might want to grab some headphones so that you can really catch everything. We're going to have a look at the general energies available. This is a general reading, so not everything will be for you. Just work with anything that rings a bell, that resonates, that touches a nerve, and leave behind what isn't yours. We're going to do a general reading first, and then I'll pull Higher Octave spread from the Voyager deck. Let's get started. High Priestess is at the bottom of the deck. Okay, Cancer, let's take a look. So, what's interesting is we have this Chariot card in the position of the recent past, which is how you're coming into this reading. Now, the Chariot is known as the kind of archetypal card from the major arcana that sort of describes the Cancerian energy, and it's interesting that it's here in reverse in the position that you're coming into this reading with. So it could sort of indicate that for some of you, you might be feeling a little bit upside down at this time. Like you might not feel like fully in your power. You might feel a little bit confused. There might be some unexpected changes happening right now that could be making you feel a little bit thrown off. That would also be kind of, that could be indicated as well here with this Two of Swords upright with the Six of Wands in reverse. Feeling of confusion, a lack of clarity, a lack of confidence as well. You might be feeling like, you know, a little thrown off. That's what I'm feeling in this reading in general. It's like a feeling of being thrown off a little bit uncertain of what empowerment you can glean from the situation that you might be in right now, which may feel a little bit topsy-turvy and a little bit, what's the right word? There's an element of perseverance in this reading though. Like even though there is this maybe lack of clarity or confusion here, you might be dealing with circumstances or a situation right now that was kind of a long time in the making. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, if you're dealing with a breakup, which could be indicated here because you have both Six and Two of Cups in reverse, and both of these cards can talk about romantic partnerships or any kind of one-on-one relationship, especially something that's got like a sense of real deep connection, the Six of Cups. I mean, both of those cards, very deep connection with another person. And seeing that they're both in reverse here, there's also the Five of Wands. There's some other energies in this spread that could suggest that you could be in a moment of either breaking up or thinking about breaking up or taking some space. And that is part of what's contributing here, perhaps, to this feeling of not totally feeling empowered, not feeling really clear maybe. Some of you might have been thinking about this for a long time. And that might also explain why this Chariot is here in reverse in the recent past. You could have been feeling a little bit out of sorts and a bit uncertain about your commitments. Could have been under question for a while. So that could be why you feel a little bit out of sorts right now, is that there's been a long process of making considerations and thinking about what your options are and giving space for a decision to arise from your awareness when things have felt a little bit unclear. You have the King of Wands as the crossing position in this reading. It's in reverse. Over the Six of Cups in reverse. So, you know, your challenge at this time is to find a way to feel empowered and feel more in, I don't want to say control, but it's like the King of Wands there, you know, when he's in the reverse position, he's a little debilitated, you know? Like, I feel like you need to find a way to be more confident in the situation that you're in, even if you don't feel like it's very clear about how you should move forward. I think what's coming out here that's important to remind you is that it's not like knowing the answer to your question will bring you confidence. You have to find confidence first, and then the clarity will come. And that may seem like a ridiculous thing to say, and it might feel annoying to hear actually, but I mean, if I had to give any advice out of this spread, that's what I would say. You know, like you have two kings and you're reading in reverse here. So I feel like they could be talking about other people, and we'll get to that later in the reading, but I feel right now like what those two kings in reverse are giving me is that you need to feel a little bit stronger in your own choices and in your own direction and your decision making process, even if you don't feel like you know what you should do, right? Like there is definitely an element of uncertainty in this reading with the Chariot reverse, and this Judgment card here, there's two kings reverse, the Two of Swords, Six of Wands. Like you may not feel like it's a clear path forward. But whatever energies are changing, and I do feel like there is change in this reading. You have the Wheel of Fortune and the Death card in the outcome position of this reading. There is benefit in the changes that are happening, despite how you feel about it. I do sense in this spread that you are not loving. You're not loving the changes. You might feel a bit like this is not what was in the brochure, you know. But I do get that the changes that are happening will actually be really beneficial to you once you find your footing, and once you find a way to be a little bit more empowered and confident and more self-directed. As I said, you may not necessarily know what decision to make, or you may not necessarily know what direction you want to take, but I feel for some of you that you're waiting to feel like once you know what you have to do, then you'll feel more confident. But actually the way through the current circumstances that you're in is to cultivate more confidence and more sense of self-alignment to what's true for you. And then the course will emerge that will be more evident and clear for you to move forward on. So I really feel like that's an important message. And that's the majority of what I feel like I have here to pass on to you. The rest is kind of like just describing what's going on. But that's the bulk of what I feel like you need to hear at this time to better understand the energies that you're dealing with and how to make the most out of the circumstances that you're in. Oh, this is interesting. So I'm going to pull cards at the bottom of the deck. Even though I haven't finished here, I just want a little bit more. So you have the Hierophant. Sorry, the High Priestess and the Hierophant here. These are really interesting. I love both of these cards. And what's interesting about these two individuals, the archetypes that they represent, is that they're like the masculine and feminine version of each other. Now, the High Priestess and the Hierophant represent the energy of the individual who is sort of the person that's channeling higher knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and bringing information in. This person is sort of the medium or the intermediary, right? And let's see what the other cards are here. Okay, Ten of Wands and the Lovers. All right. There's also the Seven of Swords here. I'm going to take that. There's also the Two of Wands here, and I kind of feel like I want to bring this out into the reading as well, because you have Two of Swords and Two of Cups there. I feel like it belongs here in the spread. So let's go back to this part of the spread, and I'll bring energies in from this extension of the reading as I move around. I kind of covered this area of the spread. So Two of Swords and Six of Wands, you may be feeling uncertain about what to do and lacking in confidence. What's important though about the Two of Swords is that you're kind of agreeing to not know. You're agreeing to lack clarity. You are choosing this position because you can easily take that blindfold off. And that's what you ought to do. That's what you must do in these circumstances. Don't be complacent about your indecisiveness, and don't be in denial about what you're handling, right? Like don't play a fool. Like be responsible for what you are invoking, what you're handling, what's in front of you. Don't pretend that you don't know what to do, even if you feel unsure. There's a way through here that requires you to just simply be more responsible, find the courage and the will to find balance within, to get things in order. Get things in order. Justice here in the foundation of the reading in the unconscious mind, through to the Six of Cups and Two of Cups, both in reverse. There is sort of an element here in this reading, I feel, of sort of karmic contracts. And that might be something that you're already considering as part of your story. Like you might feel like there's some kind of debt. You know, if we're talking about whatever kind of relationship we're looking at here that is having some issues, it's important for you to understand that whatever you feel you are responsible for, like with this Ten of Wands here, Seven of Swords, and the Lovers, what I'm feeling with this is that it's important that you don't misinterpret or overestimate what you have decided your karma is. Right? Like if you are kind of playing out some kind of martyr, kind of almost, you know, maybe victim, like I'm feeling like with this Ten of Wands, like you might be carrying this load that is unsustainable to carry. It's a heavy burden, and this may feel like whatever this relationship is, or whatever this energy that you are feeling like you have some debt or responsibility to. You need to be clear in your own energy that your work in this life is to fulfill your karma. It's not to carry someone else's. So switch things up in your mind. If that's hitting a nerve for you, there's something in this reading about needing to delineate between what is your responsibility and what is someone else's. And don't like play yourself. Don't play yourself in thinking that it's, you know, your work to do this thing that you feel you are indebted to someone or responsible to someone for. I'm not talking about actual contractual obligations here as far as legal documents and matters. I'm talking about karmic energy that you feel somehow tied into something with someone that you may be finding it difficult to move on and go your own way because you feel some kind of responsibility to a person. Just get clear about that. Like, be clear about what your responsibilities are and handle those. Because I feel like you're not really getting anywhere with this energy of like feeling uncertain. It's kind of a drag. Right, Judgment and King of Swords. Again, I already kind of covered this, but once again, I'm feeling like there is some energy around here right now where you have the chance to experience a kind of understanding, a revelation, an awakening about your own journey. And it might be getting triggered by another individual. But it's really important here to own your path, own your own choices, and gather more confidence and more awareness and more alertness of what is yours to handle, what your responsibilities are, and be willing to leave behind things that are not your burdens to carry. And just get that clear and straight in your mind. Because I feel like this confusion that I'm picking up on is just, it's coming from this place of you feeling like you need to do the right thing by someone else. But that's, no, it's not, I don't feel like that's right in this situation. Hopes and fears, we have the Queen of Cups upright with the Five of Wands in reverse. Queen of Cups could be your energy, it's a water energy. But more than that, it's about, like, you're hoping, hopes and fears, right? and the hopes and fears is contained in both cards. So you're hoping to find emotional fortitude and clarity and creativity and inspiration, but you're afraid of not taking the initiative to rise up and find the confidence and the courage to actually deal with your own responsibilities, and you're too busy getting caught up in some kind of trifling dramas or conflicts that maybe don't go anywhere. I'm like feeling this sort of looping energy of like the same conversation again, like not getting anywhere, not making progress, not finding a way through, not finding a solution or a common ground or any sort of understanding. And I want to be clear here, I'm not saying whether or not you should break up. That's not at all what this reading is about. It's about you being aware of what your responsibilities are, simply. Now, in the outcome, Wheel of Fortune, upright, Death reversed, and the Nine of Swords. Again, I feel like there is some movement and change here. There is like a viability to a new direction opening up, because you already feel like there is some shift that you want to make. But I feel you're holding back. You're holding back because you are too afraid perhaps to move forward into what you know is a decision that you actually already made. That's what I'm feeling in this reading. It's like you're sitting on the fence of being uncertain, but you already kind of set motion to change a while back. And what you're experiencing now is actually the result of some shifts that have already occurred inside you. And so, you know, Wheel of Fortune upright is describing that. That's like the decisions you made a while ago that are kind of showing up for you now in the manifest reality. Like that's what the Wheel of Fortune is. Death in reverse in the opposite corner of this Judgment card feels to me like you are ready for this change, but you like I said, you set things in motion some while ago, but with Death in reverse now it's showing up, and you're kind of like getting cold feet maybe, or you're delaying, or you're hesitating, or you're second guessing, or you are perhaps not yet fully awakened to what you are becoming aware of. And then you kind of choose to stay in this position of uncertainty, of anxiety, of anguish, of confusion, of delusion. Like you're standing on the edge of the cliff, but you're kind of gripping, and like your toes are sort of gripping on, but there's like rocks falling away. You know, it's this feeling of like you're right there, you're super close to actually going for it, but there's that inertia and the holding back. So let's bring it all together here now with this part of the spread here. With the High Priestess and the Hierophant, 10 of Wands, Lovers, 7 of Swords, 2 of Wands. So I kind of covered the 10 of Wands and the Lovers there, right? Like you might be holding on to some kind of burdens because you feel responsible for this thing, or for a person, or for something. Again, I'm not talking about legal contracts. If you have actually made contractual agreements with somebody and signed documents for, I mean, you can always change your mind, but in all ways you have to understand that there's, you know, consequences for that. So, Hierophant and High Priestess, as I mentioned, these are the two entities or the individuals, the archetypes that represent those people who are channels or mediums. These are the people that are bringing in higher wisdom and knowledge from non-physical places or people or energies, right? It's interesting seeing them both come up right here. I like this. This is feeling very empowering. But what I get from this is that you are the key. Like you are the key. You are these energies. You are able to draw inspiration, wisdom, understanding, and awareness from higher sources, from your higher self. And it's really important that you own that, and that you acknowledge that for yourself, and you start working with that. Instead of staying in this energy of uncertainty, confusion, and denial. You're kind of stuck in this little bit of a sort of limbo moment where you're not where you used to be, and you aren't where you're going to yet. So you have to choose to go forward and be in this energy and go to the place that you know is actually your natural environment. I love that those came out together there. Now, again, the Lovers I kind of covered, but what's interesting, I kind of feel like these cards can both be representative of you, but I also feel like this could describe a really powerful counterpart energy, meaning like a lover is kind of dynamic. Two people that are really empowered and strong and deeply spiritual and mystical and tuned in and aware and active in their sort of magical responsibilities. So this could be describing something new that could be coming in, or something that's already with you but that needs some tweaking to get to this place. And that's interesting, it fell on the floor. So, but to get to that place, there's some baggage that needs to go. Alright? And that's what this Seven of Swords and Two of Wands is saying to me down here. There is a need for greater honesty, for most of all with yourself. I feel this Seven of Swords is sort of you needing to just be real about your position, your condition, your movement forward. I feel like you need to commit to your own path. Again, I'm not talking about you breaking up or not. It's not about that. It's just you committing to your path wholeheartedly, to this path of this deeply spiritualized practice of evolving and growing. It's about your own development. And as I said, you are the key. You hold the key. You have access to all that information that you need. You are healing. I feel like this, for some of you, it's like you're feeling like you need to be healed, or you need to heal first before you can do something. Healing is a journey forever. I mean, you don't ever fully necessarily totally arrive to a completely healed state. There's always work to do. There's always more to discover. There's more to release. There's more to uncover. There's more to grow into. But you don't need to feel like you ought to hold back from pursuing, a fulfilling and loving and happy time because you still feel like you have to fix something. That was for someone. I want to pick up this Lover's card from the floor. I do like that this came out here with this Hierophant and High Priestess. Alright, let me just check over here, but I kind of feel like this reading is done. I feel like it was 5 minutes, but it was actually already 23 minutes. So, I'm hearing be graceful. Again, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. You might be feeling like you don't have the confidence to make a decision to move, and to know how to move forward here. But what it's saying in this reading is, work on collecting your confidence first, and the decisions will be evident afterwards. But that doesn't, I'm not talking about a really long timeline. That can happen as instantly as you just realize that you aren't being confident, or that you aren't being sure of yourself, or that you're lacking some kind of composure and sort of self-esteem that gives you that sense of knowing really who you are and what you need and what's best to do next for you for the righteousness of your own journey, and honoring that for yourself of what you need. I hope that helped, Cancer. So I'm going to move on now. That's it for the general reading. I'm going to shuffle and lay out the cards for the Higher Octave spread, which is designed to give a little bit more insight and hopefully provide some greater clarity, maybe also illuminate some blind spots and reveal any more insight that your guides and your higher self want to pass on. So please send your energy into the deck while I'm shuffling. Let's take a look. There we go. We have the Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Same card here. Five of Cups, crossed by the Seven of Crystals, which is this card, Seven of Swords. It's interesting. So this has now become your obstacle. This was about truth, remember? It's talking about being truthful, about your own position. Ace of Pentacles, nice. Six of Cups. Devil in reverse. Ten of Cups. Sage of Cups reversed. Three of Pentacles reversed. Child of Wands. Two of Cups reversed. We had that card in the crowning card position of the last reading. Page of Cups reversed. Four of Crystals reversed. Seven of Worlds. And Woman of Crystals. Alright. So in this spread, we have the Six of Cups and the Two of Cups again, which were those two cards in the first reading that were quite significant and maybe sort of even defined the sort of basic theme of the spread. This card we also have the Five of Cups reversed, Sage of Cups reversed. So there's Ten of Cups as well. If you want to hear the interpretation of this spread, you can click the link in the description box below. I'm going to go into more detail about the cards here. Thank you so much for watching. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. I hope you found some things in there that will help you on your way. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next reading.